Hello everybody and welcome back to NCAA 2004, and we are here in the penultimate conclusion of one of the biggest seasons that we've done in this series, finishing off the gauntlet. And what a finishing end it is, going up against number 2 ranked Southern Miss, who really doesn't need any introduction. I've said that before about some of the other programs in our sim, but Southern Miss really doesn't need any introduction. I mean, really. They've been there whether you've been aware of it or not. Southern Miss has won Conference USA all but one season. In year number 5, they had a quote-unquote bad season where they finished ranked 11th and didn't win the Conference USA. But then, as far as record goes, they've won 11 or more games every single season. Every single season, they've won 11 or more games. At least won 11 or more games. And they've won 12 games 5 times. So, I mean, they've been the pride and joy, I guess, of Conference USA in the group of 5. They've been at no risk of really losing it outside of that one season. They finished in the top 10 all but just 2 seasons. And one of the seasons they didn't, again, was ranked 11th. So, and they lost to get out of the top 10. So they were like 3rd before that loss. But either way, man, Southern Miss is just a formidable opponent. Believe it or not, though, they have not made it to the national championship game. This is our 4th time being here. We're looking for our 3rd victory. But this is our 4th time playing the game just at all. But yeah, they have not made it, so it's just a bit of an interesting situation there. And then, of course, we have a little bit of a history with the Eagles because we've played the Eagles twice. Now, in year number 2, they beat us in Hattiesburg 28-24 in an absolute nail-biter. We were ranked 14th and 17th, respectively. But then we got a revenge in year number 4 when we beat them 27-24 in Hattiesburg. And we were ranked 4th, and they were ranked 12th. So we do have a little bit of a history with Southern Miss here. And so this might be the grudge match, I guess you could say, since we're tied 1-1 in the Signaben era. But now, at the end of the season here, this is the last final game, a lot of the final games for a lot of the seniors on the team, potentially some of the juniors on the team if they decide to leave, like Ryan Barton could probably leave, same with Max Price or Dimitri Goleman. So this could be a really big game for a lot of the members on our team, but Southern Miss is already moving the ball pretty efficiently. Now, their quarterback has had a decent year. He's thrown for only over 2,500 yards, but his touchdown INT split is 24-11, so he's been pretty efficient with the football. Got to give it to him here, and this has been the bigger piece here. This running back, Brandon Bonner, has been a really standout piece for Southern Miss's offense, and running the football has really been their bread and butter this year. But it's not going to matter running the football on that play, at least, because there's a 5-yard face mask that's going to give Southern Miss a 1st and goal, fresh set of downs here. And of course, Signaben not happy about that, and I wouldn't be happy about it either, because we were about to get them off the field, and now they have 1st and goal here at the 5. So a handoff to Bonner here. Bonner's going to bounce around and find some open room, and he's going to fall forward into the end zone for his 17th touchdown of the season. Yes, you heard that right. Brandon Bonner, the running back for Southern Miss, has 17 total touchdowns on the year. I honestly think we have 2 of the best running backs in all of college football just in this game between Lehman and Bonner here. So 3rd and 11 now late in the first quarter. Both offenses kind of struggling to get going early in this game here. But finally, Barton breaks through and finds Thomas Samples for a humongous pickup. And Thomas Samples is looking to get 1,200 yards. And that reception right there should at the very least do that. Get him over 1,200 yards here. A low number for touchdowns. He's about half his touchdown production. But hopefully he gets a couple more in this game. So 1st and goal, Barton floats one out to the corner. And it's going to get picked off in the back of the end zone. He tried to hit Thomas Samples, but Samples didn't really have a clear throwing lane. I'm not entirely sure what angle he thought that he had Samples at, but that's going to be a bad interception in the end zone. That's only Ryan Barton's 12th interception of the year compared to his over 40 touchdowns. It's we can handle that. We can handle that. But in a defensive battle like this, that's a tough one to lose. So already now in the last minute of the first half, is really nothing has been going on offense for either team. It's been a huge defensive matchup. But Andrew Solomon gets a reception to continue the drive. But still, it's 3rd and 7 again, and Barton takes a shot towards the end zone to Andrew Solomon once again, and that pass is broken up as Barton just can't seem to find any open throwing lanes in the end zone, but he keeps trying to attack it. So bring out John Bellamy, kicking in his final game as a member of the Crimson Tide, and the kick is up, and it is good. So we finally do at least answer back to Southern Miss. We're not going to get shut out in the first half, but things are not boding well for the rest of the game if our offense has been this stagnant through the first 2 quarters of play here. Southern Miss seems to have something figured out on defense with our high-powered offense, at least our high-powered throwing offense. And so we need to figure out a way to break through. So in the third quarter here, we're on our own end of the field here at our own 45. Barton steps up in the pocket and heaves one downfield. And it's Thomas Samples again, further padding the amount of yards he's got on the year as he looks to get to close to about 1,300 yards on the season here with maybe a couple more receptions. So first and 10 out about the 11 of Southern Miss. And now Dimitri Gleeman's going to tap himself in, and he's going to get himself his 15th touchdown on the season, man. So he's rushed for over 1,200 yards, and now he's got himself his 15th touchdown, which, in case you were curious about J.J. Wright, it's better. It's a lot better than J.J. Wright. So we definitely made the better decision here. J.J. Wright with only 800 yards and 10 touchdowns last year, so Dimitri Gleeman still adding to his numbers, so... But Southern Miss will not be stopped, as now they're going to head the other way with a big tight end, it looks like. It looks like, yeah, they hit their tight end, maybe Leslie Lambert, I think, who's been also pretty effective for Southern Miss through the air. So 3rd and 8 now. We force the Eagles here on a 3rd down, and their quarterback, McCall, is going to drop back here, and he takes a shot towards the pylon, and that's going to be caught in the corner of the end zone. An amazing catch. You got to give him credit on that. I mean, that was a decent catch there, and it looked like it might have been Marcus Minor. I think we'll get another look at the number. And yeah, it's Marcus Minor. Minor, I hardly know her. And Marcus Minor is going to get his 7th touchdown on the season. And this one's a huge one for Southern Miss as they take the lead 14-10. And now in our own end here, after the ensuing kickoff on a 3rd and 11, Barton takes a shot downfield, and it's Thomas Samples once again for another huge completion. And that is exactly what we need here, a nice little pulse of life following a Southern Miss touchdown. We cannot grow stagnant here on offense now if Southern Miss is willing to start going back and forth with us here. So 1st and 10 now, just past midfield. Barton's going to go with the option play. Sends this one out to Lehman. Lehman with a spin move to cut up field here and at least get back to the line to gain. So that play was about dead to rights, and then Lehman was able to extend that. And already you see Lehman's getting outran here by Bonner, but still being effective here and continuing the drive, which is what we need. So on 3rd and 12 now, no one in the backfield. Barton back to pass, steps up in the pocket, throws one out to Thomas Samples, who's got a little bit of a lane, and he's going to get brought down right at the goal line. They're going to say that he was tackled short. I don't know about that one. That was awfully close, but they're going to say that he was tackled short, so we're going to have to roll with whatever the auto refs say here, because the spot, I think, is a little bit wacky here. I think if the booth was to review this, they'd probably give it a touchdown, I think. Yeah, that's 100% a touchdown. I don't know how that wasn't called one on the field, but either way, we'll find a way to punch it in here, and now we're going to give it to Lehman, and he's going to get his 17th or 16th touchdown on the season. So he has number 15 and number 16 in this game, and he's just continuing to pad those numbers and really grow here for this offense. So 17-14 is your score, but Southern Miss will not be stopped unless they start making bad decisions like this, as an interception is going to be thrown now to Desmond Haston, a senior playing in his final game as a member of the Crimson Tide, and he gets a nice interception here deep in Southern Miss's own territory. So this could give us the huge boost that we need to really kind of open up the lead potentially to 2 possessions, and that's a very important thing since we've been kind of trailing Southern Miss this entire game. On a 3rd and short, we're going to hand this one off to Robbie Tanner, the fullback, and he's going to pick up at least a 1st down here. So Tanner hasn't done a whole lot in the season here, but he's been at least on par with where we've expected the fullback position to be. So now inside the 5 on a 2nd and goal. Barton's going to go the reversal here to Andrew Solomon, who's going to get spun out and fumble the football, and Southern Miss is going to get on top of it at about the 4-yard line. You know, Andrew Solomon, man, we've tried to give him a couple opportunities in this game, and now he finally gets one, and he fumbles it, a huge turnover. So the game's going to remain 17-14, but now Southern Miss on a 3rd down, deep in their own end. McCall looking for an open man, finds one along the sideline and toe drag, and it might have been Corbin Smith, I think, who maybe was able to toe drag along the sideline. He's a junior, hasn't done a whole lot for Southern Miss this year, but that was a huge play for them now. But it's another 3rd and 8 for Southern Miss. McCall takes a shot down the middle of the field, and that pass is going to be tipped and hit the ground safely. So I didn't get a look at who it was. Pat Burks is celebrating, but I know he didn't touch the ball. So, but now it's going to be 3rd and 15 after the punt, and now we have an opportunity here to at least get a 1st down. Pressure's on to Barton. He's hit as he throws, and Andrew Solomon makes the catch, but he fumbles it again, and Southern Miss is going to land on top. That one I maybe don't want to blame him as much because I don't even know if that was fully a catch. Again, another tricky thing with the refs, the auto-reffing in this game, but they're going to say it was a fumble, and now Southern Miss with a golden opportunity in our own end, but now they're going to fumble as McCall tries to run it himself, and he fumbles the football. And so now the game is just getting sloppy here as either team is just kind of giving away turnovers willy-nilly, and the third quarter is going to remain 17-14. That's how it will end, but with Southern Miss with a couple mistakes and with a couple of mistakes of our own. But now it is us with the football past midfield here as Barton on a 3rd and 7 drops back to pass, pressure's on, and he gets rid of it just in time, I believe, to Dimitri Lehman, kind of like a screenplay that just kind of took forever to develop. Wasn't really ever going to go anywhere, and Lehman was unable to get back to or get to the line to gain. So now Southern Miss taking over 1st and 10. McCall takes a shot, and that pass is picked off by Tyler Kennedy, and I think that's his 7th on the year, I believe. I think it's his 7th of the year. And yeah, he's had himself an absolute, or actually it's Goodwin. It's Neil Goodwin, my mistake. I assumed it was Tyler Kennedy, but it's Neil Goodwin, the free safety, who also has had a couple on the year. But now we get another opportunity inside the 35 of Southern Miss. Barton, good protection up front, takes a shot towards the end zone, and it's Thomas Samples with his taped up ankles, and he gets himself his 7th touchdown of the season. Thank God we finally get another Thomas Samples touchdown. I was worried we wouldn't see one in this game. I wanted him to get at least another one in the national title game, in his final game as a member of the Crimson Tide. Kind of the last kind of player of the old guard, I guess. I don't know. It's always revolving, but I feel like he's one of the last of those really good Bama teams that we've seen in the last couple of years. He's kind of the last piece of that. But now McCall, man, is just kind of unraveling, and here you see Tyler Kennedy finally getting himself another interception. Now, the 3rd pick of the game, and McCall entered this game again with only 11 on the year, so now he's all the way up to 14 picks on the season. Really just having himself a disaster game in the Sugar Bowl, which we just seem to own at this point. I mean, we just really seem to own the Sugar Bowl. I don't think you want to go into a game in New Orleans against this Bama team. I really don't think you do. And so now we are moving on offense. Still only up by 10 points. Barton hit as he throws, but along the sideline, that pass is going to be caught by Andrew Solomon, who's just kind of been everywhere this game for good and bad reasons. He's just kind of been all over the place, but it's a nice completion. And now we are trying to further add on to this lead that we have with Southern Miss. Now Barton back to pass here. Again, good protection, kind of throws it awkwardly, but that pass is going to be caught by Andrew Solomon in the end zone, and Solomon continues his pretty decent season here. He's kind of stepped up, and that is his 8th touchdown of the year. So as you can see, he's got more touchdowns than Thomas Samples, and we will see that when we go over the stats and just see exactly how things are broken down. But Andrew Solomon has himself a pretty fantastic season so far here in his sophomore season. So now it's 3rd and 3 back on offense once again. Barton looking for a place to throw, and that pass is going to be incomplete. So now we are back in Southern Miss territory, but we were unable to hit the backup tight end. So now we're going to have to bring out Bellamy for another attempt here to kind of extend the lead to 20 points. And a 20-point lead would kind of safely put this game away for us, and Bellamy, just scraping past the crossbar, is able to nail the kick through. So 34-14 is your score here in New Orleans, and now Southern Miss back up against the wall here in the 4th quarter. Not much time left to operate, but with 2.5 minutes, they're still going to try, man. So they're at about midfield. McCall's still out there, got to do something, and he flips one out into a whole mess of coverage, but it's Southern Miss top receiver Wade Chester who comes down with it. And now Southern Miss is going to try and run up back to the line of scrimmage as quickly as they can to try and get some plays off and get back into this ball game if at all possible. So now 2 minutes and change just taken away here. McCall gets the snap, looks over his options, takes a shot towards the end zone and wide open. And I think it was Wade Chester once again who he hits right at the goal line. Nearly gets his head taken off completely, but he does hold on to the football. So we will give all the credit in the world to Chester late in this game here for making that kind of play. And yeah, Harold Frazier just about takes his head completely clean off. And now it's 3rd and goal, so Southern Miss has wasted a whole nother minute trying to get into the end zone. McCall going to try and run it in, and he meets Kellen Cunningham. And you're not going to get past big Kellen Cunningham, who was playing his last game as a member of the Crimson Tide as well. So 4th and goal now, with just a minute left to go. And now they're going to go with the fullback, because you might as well. Amari Middleton getting into the end zone, and that is his 9th touchdown of the year. So Southern Miss really getting an awful lot of production from the running side of their team here. From the rush attack has really been effective for Southern Miss in this game, but it's not going to be enough to get them back into it, and we're going to end and win the grudge match against the Eagles 34-21 and win our 3rd national title in the Sick Naben era. So that puts us only 3 away from Nick Saban's total number, and we still have, I think, 7 more full seasons to do of this series. So as long as we win another 3 over the next 7, I think we'll be okay. And on the pace that we're on, that should be feasible. I would love to win back-to-back. We have yet to win back-to-back, and I think that's still the last kind of big hurdle or hump that we're kind of looking at. So it was a thing I struggled with in my Northwestern series that I did like a long time ago on my channel. That was a big problem I had on that as well. But in that series we did did the season sims. We would just sim the whole year and then see if we won it or not. But in this one, we're actually going game by game and looking at it, so I feel like there's a better chance. I feel like that gives us a better chance. I feel like if I just simmed this whole season, the gauntlet, we would have lost a couple games, but because we watched them, I think it's different. I don't know. The games are weird about that, so I feel the same thing in NCAA05 with the Idaho series. So, it's weird like that. But moving forward, that's, I guess, the plan with the series is try to win as many championships as possible. That was always the point, was to win more than Saban, but I'd like to win some back-to-back if we can. We might set a record for Sugar Bowls for the Alabama program, because I think that's our third or fourth Sugar Bowl since we've taken over. But either way, there's our third BCS trophy. We finally get another crystal ball to put in the trophy case, the third one. And the only one we've lost is Texas. So a 3-1 record. Speaking of Texas, Texas wants us to join them. We beat them this season, and now they want us there. They want what we've been doing to happen in Austin. But it's not going to happen because we are still going to stay here for the remainder of, the Nick Saban tenure, all 7 years. So, but that's how this year's going to end. And then in the next video, of course, we're going to be getting into some off-season festivities, so I hope you guys enjoyed the gauntlet. Not sure what we'll do scheduling-wise for the next couple seasons, but hope to see you guys anyway in the off-season.